Hello, my name is Alex Isles, and in this episode we're going to do a really short one about how waste management was handled on many Roman forts. Now, when it comes to Roman forts, we often think of the Romans as very clean because we think of bathhouses, we think of washing, we think of all of those sort of things. But alongside that as well, the Romans did some practices that we today just think of as a little bit gross. And one of these practices was the way they got rid of their rubbish. Now, when they got rid of their rubbish, they didn't have rubbish dumps or a rubbish service like we do today, where you put the bins out and the rubbish men come and they pick it up and they get rid of it. No, the Romans had a very different system. Right here you can see a depiction of a Roman soldier getting rid of rubbish between two barrack blocks. And when they got rid of rubbish, they would just dump it between the two barrack blocks and it would be left there basically for nature to deal with. Now, another place that they disposed of rubbish was actually in the ditches around the Roman forts. And good examples of this is actually at Vindolanda, where they've actually found a great deal of amazing finds found in the ditches around the Roman forts. So it was a case of, if you had rubbish and you needed to get rid of it, you put it in a location where you weren't often moving, walking or stuff like that. So between two barrack blocks would be a perfect location. You chuck the rubbish in there and you can see here broken pottery and things like that. Another fact as well would be the fact that even though the forts did have a specific toilet where all the soldiers could go, let's say you were desperate to go to the toilet during the night, you'd probably sneak out from your barrack block and you'd probably go down the back of an alleyway, or you would have a communal a pot that you would use for waste. You would gather all of that and then you would dispose of your waste maybe between a barrack block or into the ditch outside the Roman fort. Therefore giving us another example of not always having to go to the toilet, but also having your communal pot that you could use there as well. So that gives you an image of the Romans and another totally different way of understanding their way of life, because we so often think of the Romans as being clean and we think of them as bathhouses and all of that stuff as well. But they did have a lot of waste, and it wasn't organic waste like we see with the native Britons necessarily, where they would have a lot more wood-based and other items like that, and a lot less metal and pottery. The Romans were producing a lot more metal, a lot more pottery, a lot more items like that, and so when they threw them away, they had a lot more of a signature on the landscape, which is why we can see that today through archaeology. I really hope you've enjoyed this short video and you've learned something about how the Romans managed, well, rubbish on their forts, on their sites and around their cities, and it's a very different experience to what we see today. As always, I would ask, if you aren't already subscribed, please do subscribe to the channel, and if you've enjoyed this video and you would like to have an influence in some of the content I'm making in the future, please do support me on Patreon, and you'll see the link in the description below. But until next time, stay safe and well, and thank you very much for joining us today.